but I've affectionately referred to you as the kid. And because I'm like, I could be your grandfather, but I love the fact that it shows that when you want it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old you are. You don't have to be a seasoned vet. Like I see some folks on here that have been in it 10, 20, 30 years. Doesn't matter, right? And so you're a testament to that. So without further ado, my friend, my buddy, the floor is yours. So share what you want. Share what you want.
Yeah, no, I'm really grateful to be here, and fired me up seeing the post and seeing all the engagement. So whatever you want to know, we can roll interview style, and everything is available and nothing's off the table. So
Right.
yeah, my name's, I guess, to start, 22-year-old solo agent.
Us a little bit.
Yeah, Wickler, 22-year-old solo agent based out of Scarborough, Maine, which is about 12 minutes from Portland, Maine, the largest city in the state of Maine. Big second home market. We're a couple miles from the beach at our mega agent office here. Been in the business 3 years. Operate as a leveraged solo agent. I've got a pay per deal transaction coordinator and a part-time virtual assistant. All closed right around 60, 65 transactions this year for over 40 million in volume, over $1 million in gross commission income.
And I think we might have referenced that either in your bullet points, but I think those numbers impress a lot of people. And I think that for those, again, who've done it forever, it all depends on your market, right?
Right.
You were on stage because, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here, but because of your golden letters. And
right.
So we've got a number of folks on the call that are not with KW. And so because we're all family here.
Right.
And so tell us about that briefly because there's more to you than just that, right? That's a pillar in a system that you just took and you ran with it, right?
Right.
Talk about that briefly.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like the silliest thing got me on stage, which I love. And I didn't make the system. I'm just dumb enough to have followed it, and I didn't change it or manipulate it. So pretty much executive coach Craig Zuber created this golden letter 20 years ago before I was even alive, when he was in real estate production. And I saw a MAPS call with Gina Ront doing it, and then an agent in my market, Jeff Mateo, was doing it. And I went out as a solo agent, had no business, no database, no sphere of influence, nothing, no family helping me in the business at all. And I wanted to focus on listings because you got to list to last and talk about leverage. That's how you leverage your time and you scale income. So I wanted to figure out, how can I do this without knowing a lot of people? You can go the expired route, for sale by owner route. You can go the TV route, commercials. Jeff crushes commercials. He's been spending $100,000 for 10 years, right? I just couldn't do that. I was 20 years old. So I found this video and I said, I'm going to do the golden letter. So I copied it, I ripped it off and duplicated it. I remember the first 250 I sent out, I took 2 listings and I was hooked. I'm like, bang, that's more listings than I took all of last year. And again, I was just dumb enough to follow a system and not change it at all and just keep going. And that's what got me onto stage. And that's what's really brought me a lot of success in the listing side of the business, where now I've been able to scale as a listing agent and leverage my time, where I'm not working crazy hours. Yes, I work really hard, but I'm not working 70-hour weeks. I'm working 30, 40 hours in the office by 9, out by 12, 1 o'clock. And it's mainly because of the listing focus in the business. So yeah, that's the golden letter. It's a simple mofer.
Right. And so I see Tiffany has sent a message. So Tiffany, I think we'll address that. Again, I think that today's success is about keeping it simple. We talk and using a athletic vernacular that it's about blocking and tackling, right? We've got to do the basics, and you took that basic concept and you didn't change it. Your R&D department they made it wheels. So I loved you sharing that.
Right.
Well, tell me this: where does at 19, 20, 21, and I know your birthday it's either in January or February because we chatted about it.
You're smart. You got good memory. My God.
Right. So yeah. Where does that drive and determination? Now, again, I know that you dropped out. And so I'm thinking, well, that's probably a pretty easy answer, but I want to hear from Will himself. Is that where the drive and determination to succeed? Because, there might have been some disappointment from family or friends, or speak on that briefly. Because
Yeah.
it's not normal that at 21, 22, that we see kids that, old schoolers and old heads think these kids today, they don't have any work ethic. They've been given this, given that, they don't have that hustle bone. Where does that come from?
Well, and the problem, and I'll say to your point, is like you don't see that. And as a young kid on social media, on TikTok, whatever, I see these 20-year-old millionaires driving Lamborghinis off of Bitcoin and all this crap. None of it's real, you know? So we're going to get real into this and get vulnerable. And I went to a really good school district town. Blessed to go there. I've got friends who are in Yale and they're freaking geniuses, engineers. That wasn't me. I focus on the 20%, 80/20 principle, even in high school, where I wouldn't do my homework, but I'd still get an A on the test, right? So I was a totally fine student, but I don't love education. Like the most engagement I had in class was like a personal finance class because I crushed it and I was passionate about it. I didn't have that passion for education. So when I graduated, I went to the local state college just because I had to, because that's a thing kids do here. And I just paid as I went, but I always worked. I had a full-time job in high school. I didn't need to, but I wanted to work. Um, I didn't grow up affluent, middle of the road, single mother, whatever. Always comfortable. We always had what we needed, but I just like to work. I had that entrepreneurial spirit. My grandfather was a shoe shine boy up in Bangor, Maine, very rural. He worked his way up to owning 9 grocery stores, hardware stores, sold it all, multi-millionaire, self-made, but I've never had a handout at all. However, I was blessed to be in the situation I was and see that and see hard work does get you places. So I always worked really hard and I always made money. So I was working network consulting and doing IT for the public school system while I was a sophomore in high school. One year I made $50,000 off the school system working, not because I had to, because I liked that hard work. So when I went to college, I was always working. I was doing IT consulting, and the investor I was working with said, you should get into real estate. So I said, well, I want to invest in real estate because I keep seeing bigger pockets and all these YouTube videos about how you can scale your income. My goal was I want to make $100,000 a year by the time I'm 30. And I knew if I got into IT, even if you're the best network engineer, you're going to start at a help desk, level 1 to 3, $20 an hour start, maybe. You can hit 100 grand year 7, year 10. My mother's in corporate insurance, a VP for a large Fortune 100. She's like, Will, we have really good jobs here for $50,000. You can make. And I'm just like, if I want to make it and live an abundant life, I need to find a way to scale my income. So that's how I got into real estate. And I didn't have all these options for school. I went to a state school. And at a certain point, I'm like, I can't do this. I'm not built for education. I'm not built for the system. And that's where that drive came in of like, I don't have another option. Yeah, I can always get by and do tech. I have skills. I wasn't completely useless. Like I do see some kids on listing appointments, like 24 years old, smoking weed in mom's house, like no job. I'm like, that wasn't me. I was always working, but I didn't have like, oh, he's a genius. He's in law school. I was going to state school with something I didn't like, and I was going to drop out. So that's where like that drive comes in of like, I want to prove people wrong because nobody thought I could do it. Nobody believed, in me in the school system. Like, oh, Will's just going to do that forever. So that's where that drive came in. And that's like my big why is just proving other people wrong, as silly as that sounds.
Well, and I think proving them wrong, but proving yourself right.
That's
Because
it.
you bet on you. And I appreciate you sharing that because I see one of my friends and a fellow Baylor Bear on here, and I think that she has Rage Potter. She's got her son sitting there with the wild hair, right? And I see there's a couple other 20+ year olds on here, and I think it's important for them to hear and see you, Will, because you inspire a lot of people, and that's why I reached out to you because I am so fortunate with this platform here that I invite Eagles here all day, every day, and we get a chance to soar together. And I think it's important for especially for young kids to know that you know what you're also about who you hang around with, who you aspire to be, and again, you're the 5 people that you hang out with and that you associate with, and learning and training is so important. And I can't thank you enough for sharing. So tell me something that I don't already know about Will. And you mentioned also investing. I want you to touch on that also, because one, you're making a crap load of money, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing? How are you scaling? And I know that I don't even have to question. I know you're being smart with your money. So speak on that.
Yeah, I'm very frugal. Like my grandfather, you wouldn't know, he was a everyday millionaire till the day he passed. I mean, God, probably one of the cheapest people I knew. And I got that into my head. It wasn't a scarcity mentality of like, we don't have any money, but it's that depressionary mindset if he was growing up through there. So I always think that's funny is like people are like, oh, you must be spending all this money going on vacation. No, I'm like the cheapest person you know. I returned something at Lowe's the other day so I could get 82 cents back. Like, what the heck? Nobody does that. What people probably don't know about me is I didn't have that mindset of like, I want to make $1 million a year, or I want, like, I had no clue what I was getting into. Everybody thinks I had this elaborate plan. It's all about being not at the right place at the right time, but being ready for what things come your way. And I've always prided myself on I take advantage and I work systems and I know when I see opportunity. So whether that's a person or a job or a client, I will work that opportunity. And the only person that hasn't let me down so far is myself. And I joke about that's the truth. Like I really live by that of like living up to my full potential, and mediocrity scares the heck out of me. So like that's probably what you wouldn't know about me is I didn't have this crazy business plan. It's evolved and I've had really great mentors, and I have mentors and coaches to this day that have gotten me here. There's no reason to do it alone. So that's probably what you don't know about me in investing. My goal is purchase one property a year, and I'm slugging along on that, and I'm looking to scale that up into larger properties. So right now I have three myself. I'm writing an offer on a multifamily right now because I need to hit that one a year goal, and bringing business partners in to start scaling the portfolio more. But my whole goal is to just have the passive income that I can just replace my sales income off of. So that's a big thing I'm passionate about is agent financials and building wealth through the asset class that I know best, which is real estate investing.
I love it. I love it. I wish that when I started at 25, 26, that I had that mentality. It's only been over about the last 5 years that I've had to really scale things up because I'm on a pace now where I buy 2 or 3 homes a year, and
Right.
hope I should be closing on one next week, and then either right before Christmas or New Year's, closing on another one. So um, I will. Bro, you're well on your way. I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud of our association, not the fact that I know you personally, but you know what, you're part of this
Mm.
amazing opportunity and community that we all share. So and as we leave, what else? We know about the golden letters. So what do you have another one other pillar? I mean, I have four. Do you have one other pillar that helps support your business? Because I think
Yeah.
it's important for people to hear that this is not the only thing you do. I know for a fact it's not.
It's just a small piece of it. And what I'll say is I appreciate you putting this platform out there. And what I'll say is as an outsider getting in the real estate industry with no clue how transactions work or what the heck, even how real estate worked, I noticed all these people, I hate to say, gray hair, 70 years old, 80-year-old agents walking around the office who have made a couple $100,000 a year for 40 years and they're still working. And I'm like, huh? Why are you still working? Well, they never invested in the asset class that they knew best. And that scared the heck out of me. Where I knew somebody once told me, they says, Will, you could mess up 10 times, catastrophic mess ups. By the time you're 30, you're still going to be fine. Someone's going to drive you to work. You're going to figure it out. So don't be afraid. And that's why I can afford to be at, hey, one a year, right? Because by the time I'm 50, what does that look like? It's out of control. I just took the KW Wealth class. It's a $50 million portfolio. So thank you for putting this platform out there and telling people, young people, you're not looking for that skyrocket effect. Slow and steady because you've got time and I'm impatient. Um, my lead sources and my business has evolved where I have a business coach now who has totally flipped my world upside down where it's like some days I don't even know what's going on anymore because it's so simple. I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's simple now. Where I had 18 sources, all these different business levers were now listings, it's golden letters, builder relationships, and really agent referrals, past client referrals, sphere referrals. So, like, we'll say referrals, quote unquote, you have builders, and golden letters. And that's what allows me to take, 25 to 30 listings a year. And then buyers, short-term rental investors is a big thing in my market. So investors in general, again, agent referrals, allied resource referrals, just got off the phone with one just now. And then call-ins on listings because I control the inventory. So really it's 2 real sources and then a sub-source. And that has gotten me to 65 units where, and there's no ego attached to any of it. I'll make fun of myself all day and I'm just a human, but I do more business than teams in my market because I hyper focus on what works and I don't focus on anything else that doesn't work or shiny or Zillow or, hey, if you crush Zillow, focus on it then. But agents were so good at flashy object.
Yes.
Here's this, here's that. I've got 3 listing sources, 2 buyer sources, and that results in $1 million in not only gross commission income, but I will net $1 million because I control my expenses and I don't have to spend money on my lead sources that don't result in income paid out.
That is amazing. And that's, I'm glad you touched on that because when we met, it was, I think your coach helped you narrow down the things that weren't working. You were throwing spaghetti against the wall. You said 18
right.
sources, right? And none of them were really bringing you what you want. And hyper focused on 1 or 2. So guys, I know there was a question. I think Will is just an individual with a transaction coordinator that's paid again, and will someone ask, and so give me the 30-second Cliff Note version of a golden letter. So for those that are not with KW, those that are newer in the business, tell them what it is in 20 seconds.
Yep, it's a simple MOFR. Make offer for immediate response. I'm asking, hey, Ben, would you sell your house to a client of mine? If so, call me on my cell phone. People will call you, then I'll take the listing, and then I'll sell it. And those letters, they put people in your database. It's a white and black piece of paper. It sends it in the mail, and the phone will ring. I have a full course I've developed around the golden letter and how I've made almost $300,000 year to date off of a simple letter. And I've ripped it off from somebody else. It's not something I created, but it's very simple. And it's brokerage agnostic. It's not a KW thing. It's not a whatever thing. It's a white and black letter that says, would you sell your house? There's a lot of systems and tools associated with it and the scripts that I've mastered in, years and lots of money spent on that. But that's it. It's just a letter.
It's a letter.
I have a question on that. How do you leverage? Are you sending them out yourself? Are you pulling the areas and personalizing each letter, or do you leverage it out to somebody or a system?
Yeah. The course really goes into that. What I'll say, if you want like an in-depth thing, and I'm not one to push coaching programs or anything if there's no investment, you'll make money off of it. Leverage is really important in my business. And like to touch on team structure, it's a pay-per deal TC and a part-time VA. The VA allows me to do stuff like this and it leverages the other stuff out. So then all I'm doing is making calls and going on appointments. Jeff Matea behind me, #1 team in Maine. Jeff's an animal. He takes 150 listings a year on his own. I mean, crushes it. I've learned a lot from him. His dad, Phil, who's 72 years old, he folds the letters right behind us. So now the VA pulls the list, Phil folds them out, and I do the calls. Or if Jeff doesn't, Jeff does the calls. That's it. We have a program where the voicemails come into, so they're not calling our cell phone. Everything goes into a spreadsheet. It's super simple. And that's the success I've had is I've simplified it. What I'll say is agents, there's some scuttlebutt that Will has all these expensive systems and he has a big team and ISA is making calls. I was printing them out at the market center when I got in this business with like no money to spend and doing it all myself. I still do it all myself. I have a $45 tool online that does the voicemails. And then we pay Phil $1,000 a month to fold letters. It's not like we have this crazy operation. You can do it yourself. I've folded 900 letters in a day before while attending online college courses with headphones in. I mean, you can totally do it yourself. Leverage is important.
Christina is asking because she's folded a lot of letters and she writes a lot of envelopes because we address damn near most of what we do. So again, guys, I think you can hear that success is simple. It's just not easy, right? So
yeah,
well,
and we don't hand address them. We use labels. I'll tell you that because Phil can only do 100 a day, but if we're doing labels, we could do 1,000 a day. And you know what? The conversion's the same. People are going to answer them, right? It's like Anderson Renewal. I get hammered by them every single month about, do you need new windows? Someday I will. I'll probably call them. I don't care if it's handwritten or a label. I'm going to open it. It's ominous. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good thing for maybe single mom to do, or stay at home, or maybe if like there's a stay-at-home dad in our market who, like, he's offered to do them for us. Like, people pay him $15 for every 100 you do. You know, it just gives them something to do, and it's not big money. It's not really skilled labor. We still pitch in and we do them. You know, it's not like we're better than doing them. We're all doing them. We've done 2,000 a day if we need to make a big push. So yeah, the leverage is the really big key, and it doesn't need to be expensive. The things that we've leveraged out is, hey, printing the labels, having the VA run the lists, and now the folding is the easy part for us.
Rach, have your 15-year-old do that for you, because he can easily fold them, right? And now he's contributing to the business. So you see that, young man. I'm talking to you, and I'm talking.
And you can pay him tax-free. Right?
That's exactly right. And I know Rach Potter, she takes full advantage of that, because I know her. So one last question. So now, are you scaling? Are you doing 1,000 a month? Or are you doing 2,000 or 3,000? Or does it just depend on how many listings you need to take in that certain month?
Bingo. It's how many do you need to take? And agents are really good at doing activity, and I am too. And the coach slows me down to speed up. So what's your listings taken goal? You'll see in June, I took 12 because I needed to. So for every 300 I send, I on average take 1 listing. So I just do the math. If I want to take 10 listings, yeah, 10 times 300. And I'm going to probably do about 15 to 20% more to make sure and overcompensate for that if my conversion is out of whack, or the leads aren't quality, or the response isn't as good. So on average, and on that website, you'll see there's the free MREA one-pager that goes over the conversion ratio. For every 300, I get 1. I will also say your first couple, I might have had to send 2,000 to get 1 because I wasn't well scripted, or I didn't really know what to say or how to say it. So my listings taken goal is 27 for next year. So I'll just have to do the math on, if I want to take 15 from golden letters, 15 times 300.
There you go. There you go. Wow. You know what? That's probably a great spot for us to end. It's
simple. Yeah. Nothing's groundbreaking. Yeah.
Well, you have been just a delight to have. Can't wait to see you. If I don't see you before, I know I'll see you in Vegas. And
yes, you will.
And we're the excitement around this family reunion is it's amazing. I mean, almost every day I'm getting notices, events, dinners, evites. It's going to be fun times, but I think between now and then we have a real opportunity to again crush it, front load our goals, because again, I think 2024 is also going to be challenging. But for the Eagles,
yeah,
I'm not worried about not one of you guys on here.
No,
because I think just like Will, I mean, you're going to bring the energy, the passion of what we do. Service is important to each and every one of us, and let's kill it, and let's all kill it together. And then more importantly, let's make sure that we celebrate the wins together. Because when I look on here and I see my non-KW friends, I love you just as much. And to all my KW friends, again, I see some of you guys on a daily or weekly basis, and others I'll see you soon. So brother, I will see you. And again, guys, each and every week I try to bring the meat.